Hi, I'm Debbie, or Dealer4519 on YouTube. I've waited days so that I could effectively speak my mind on the presidential election that happened on Tuesday, November 8th, and all the elections that went with it. A lot of people have this frame of mind that the presidential election was to turn around the country because everybody hated the direction it was heading. Well, the only thing I can say to the people who believe that are that all new laws and bills and funding come from the House and the Senate, and not only were they Republican before, but they're Republican now. So by not changing that actually means nothing will change. Instead, the American people decided that some of them wanted Bernie instead of Hillary to be on the Democratic ticket, and then they'd have felt better, but the country would have been in far worse condition because nobody was going to pass anything Bernie Sanders wanted passed. Not the House, not the Senate, not the Republicans, not the Democrats. The White House dog probably wouldn't have wanted that passed. So therefore, they voted for Jill Stein and Gary Johnson. Just Gary Johnson alone, if we just took his votes and added them to Hillary's votes in the swing states, Hillary would have won the election handily. Thank you, Bernie supporters. But you were never really Democrats to begin with, neither was Bernie, and we should have never allowed him to run on our ticket. And that's how I feel about that. I know it seems that I shouldn't be able to just spout that off, but I was opposed to Bernie being on the ticket. I was opposed to Bernie campaigning on our ticket. I was opposed to Bernie losing on our ticket. Because he wasn't a Democrat. That would be like putting me on the Republican ticket for anything. I can tell people what they want to hear. I can tell people what is going to get me elected, but I'm not going to be able to get any of it done. So, yeah, there's that. And I'm not a Democrat because I want everybody to take away your guns. I have a lot of guns. I don't want anybody to take my guns. In fact, I fully intend to keep my guns and even use them if I feel the need. So having said that, I can kill my own food, but that's not going to help my country. Because the only other thing you can do with a gun is to kill a person. And while that might help my country, I'm not that psychotic, crazy person that goes out and does that. I'm the psychotic, crazy person that goes to the polls and expects that people will vote what's best for the country. But that didn't happen. And because of that, I have a feeling that in a very short amount of time, our president won't be Donald Trump, but it will be Mike Pence. He was picked by the Republican Party to run on the ticket with Donald, and Donald is facing a lot of fraud charges and things like that over Trump University, not over everything else. We'll skip that for a while. And there's a lot of talk, and there has been for a while, that they will impeach him in January so that Mike Pence can run the country for 4 years. I have every right to be afraid of Mike Pence because after I left Indiana, I was born and raised in Indiana, and I lived there as an adult. But after I left, he was elected governor. And you know what happened? Terrible things. But those people who I left behind don't blame Mike Pence. They blame President Obama. Because even in the South, things got much better under Obama, but apparently they didn't in their state. And they don't attribute that to having a Republican governor. But I would look there first, because I was doing just fine in the working middle class before Bush was elected. And now I will continue to stay right at the bottom of the working class, middle class, because Trump's been elected, which actually means that Pence will serve. I hope you guys are getting all this. It's going to be real hard for me to back up later. Anyway, skipping that and let's move on. I have heard a lot of very thought-provoking, wonderful, coddling people on YouTube, some big YouTubers, some not, talk about, how this upsets them because they have YouTubers crying. Why are they watching the little YouTubers? I don't know, but little YouTubers are crying because Trump was elected. Well, one of my favorite big YouTubers said he didn't understand what they were all upset about. That it didn't change anything. That everything was going to remain the same and there was no reason to be upset. But let me be honest, that back in the beginning, over a year ago, I thought that Trump was pulling a stunt. I truly never thought that he would run for president. And then it never crossed my wildest dreams that he would win for president. But based on all that I've just told you, I've been wrong about Trump. Should he be allowed to serve by the Republican Party, he'd probably be the best president ever. He's already taken things down off his wall. He's pulled the immigration thing from his platform. He's pulled backing off, complete repeal of Obamacare off his policy wall. So there's two big things right there that he ran on that he's not going to do. That works for me. It works for a lot of other people who work for a living. But it doesn't really work for those people who are counting on him to overhaul America and make America great again. You know why? Because America was never not great. Because this is the greatest country that we have. And we're lucky to be here. It's just luck if you were born here or you became a citizen here or even if you were adopted by someone here. It's just luck. And you're lucky to be here. So thank God you are here. And quit whining about all the people who are whining about what they're losing. Most of the world thinks America's crazy right now. The Chancellor of Germany, which I was never really her fan, but I'm her fan now because instead of calling to congratulate Trump, she called to tell Trump what she would and would not put up with and what she expected out of his behavior. Angela Merkel, you made my list. Also, I want to say this. All the people who are upset about something, they're losing something. Now, what are they losing? Well, I'm not a fortune teller, but I'll tell you what they're probably losing. They're probably losing family or friends that are allegedly going to get deported back to Mexico. They're probably losing all hope that there'll ever be restrictions on handguns and that people will go shoot through the streets shooting and possibly killing their family and friends. He was supposed to be taking health care away from millions. We'll see if that happens, and then we'll revisit that issue. But that's what he said, so that's what they're afraid of. He was going to, throw foreigners out of the country and put a ban on Muslims. You know what you're losing there? Your freedom of religion. Because our Constitution guarantees us a freedom of religion, not from religion. So we had no right to tell anyone what they could or couldn't believe. And if I can sit back and watch people who believe in aliens practice religion and get tax-exempt status for that, and I can and I have, then I don't know who in the world we think we are that we're going to put a ban on Muslims. Anyway, that would be losing something. That would be losing a right. It's not a privilege. It's a constitutional right. In the meantime, all I can do is hope for the best and leave the country. I am hoping for the best, and I am planning to leave the country before Inauguration Day. Not because anybody won or lost, but because I am due a vacation. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.